Hello again. Do you remember that video that I did on the Case Sodbuster with the amber jigged burnt bone? This thing. Well, as a lot of you may know, Case does a lot of their knives, a lot of their different models of knives with the same handle material and the same colour. What I've got now is the Hawkbill with the same finish. My god, is that a gorgeous knife. That is a mighty fine knife. Even better still, they've actually finished this one properly. There's no imperfections like there is on this one. So I think for the remainder of this video, we'll just leave that Swordbuster in there too, because it's also such a fine knife, even with its slight imperfections. So what we're looking at here, well, this is essentially a gardening knife. I'm not entirely sure what it's for. I think it's, the proper name for it anyway, is a pruning knife. Now actually we do see one slight imperfection, but really that can be forgiven. They're fitted by hand, and they're technically mass produced. So we're looking at a gardening knife basically, or I actually showed this to my dad and he said, well, that's basically just a farming knife. According to him, these are pretty good for opening silage. Honestly, this thing is good for opening pretty much anything. I've used it a fair deal, and believe it or not, it's exceptionally good for opening the post. Could you tell I like to use my knives for opening the post? In fact, whenever I get a letter, it's always a different knife that I use. Yeah, but isn't that such a lovely piece of amber jig bone? I mean, isn't that finished just so nicely? And I have had this in the pocket sometimes. Now, on videos like this, with knives like this, I like to just take extra time just to show you around the knife, just so we can enjoy the craftsmanship, really. Even though that, if I could just get the lighting right on this thing. Even though there are some slight imperfections. Just love that polish though. On the spine, on the blade, on the bolsters. And of course this thing's an absolute fingerprint magnet. So these are around 80 quid on Heine Haynes. This one here was a gift from a wonderful girlfriend for my birthday not too long ago, and I've been absolutely in love with it. I've been eyeing this thing up for months, and needless to say I was quite happy when I received this. There's just something about it. I mean, it's nice how flat it is as well. I mean, maybe it's just me that finds that satisfying, I don't know. Now that's quite a nice Hawkbill blade on that, nicely polished, nicely ground, nice and sharp as well, hair shaving sharp at the factory. Let's have a look at the tang stamp. USA 610011. I don't know what that number means. I'm sure some of the more serious collectors will know. I don't have a clue. USA is self-explanatory, of course. SS, I think that has to do with the steel, just saying that stainless steel, and obviously Case's tang stamp right there. As I said, lovely amber jig bone, which is burnt, nickel silver bolsters, brass pins, which I'm a huge fan of. I really like exposed pins, brass liners, nickel silver bolsters, and of course that lovely near mirror polished blade. Now this thing does really well with draw cuts. I mean, that point there really sticks in. I mean, if you're opening a cardboard box, this thing's better than a Stanley knife. In fact, I think in some situations these are used as carpet knives. I could definitely see it being used for that. The only thing is, I think the steel might be a bit soft, so I would imagine if you were using this to cut carpet, or in fact I would imagine this would be good for cutting things like linoleum as well. But I would think you'd be sharpening the thing an awful lot, and of course the more you sharpen it, the less blades you're going to have to play with. So for me, I'd be quite reserved on what I use it for, because to me that's just a lovely piece of cutlery. Of course, we've got the case shield inside that lovely bone handle. It's quite big for a slip joint. I should have brought out the Manly Wasp, I completely forgot. But of course we'll still do some comparisons because it wouldn't be the same without it. So since it's sitting here, we'll do the Sodbuster. You can definitely see a lot of similarities there. Victorinox Swiss Champ because reasons. And for the hell of it, Leatherman Wave. In fact, why not show the blade of a Swiss Army knife beside this thing? Did I mention that the knife is UK legal carry? Well, usually I do. This time I forgot. Yeah, this Case Hawkbill Pruner is a UK legal carry. That blade cutting edge is less than 3 inches, and of course is non-locking. We do have a little bit of a choil, which makes it a bit of a safer knife, so you could choke up there. That's not likely to fold on you. I mean, if you manage to make this thing fold on you, you're doing something wrong. And we do have a half stop, so it's a fairly safe knife. Although I really would not want to get my finger caught there, especially with that curved blade shape. You're really asking for trouble. Now, the only issue for me with this knife, and it's not a problem with the knife itself, it's a me issue. I'm going to struggle to sharpen that blade being curved, so I'm going to try and not dull it too quickly. Like I said though, it does come nice and slicey out of the factory. Cuts through the paper really well. Shaves your arm hair, no bother. I would imagine it'd be fairly good for cutting fruit. I bet you this would make a great rope knife as well because it's so thin. It's nice and sharp, and because of that blade shape. Although I'd be a bit more reserved as to where I was using this thing, because this is one of those knives that are a bit more likely to scare someone. I feel like something like this is less likely to scare someone, but of course most of you know my opinion on that anyway. If it's going to be used in front of people, I still stand by what I say about a Swiss Army knife. It's just the most non-threatening, friendly knife you can possibly get. I think that's really all I could say about this lovely case knife. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you later.